Hello, hello, hello. My name's Libby and welcome to this summer solstice special session. So today we're honouring the solstice by calling in the fire element, which in traditional Chinese medicine is the representation of summertime. So it's this idea of enjoying the fruits of our labours, luxuriating in the richness of summer and the long nights, the sun at its strongest, at its most powerful point throughout the whole year. That's what really encapsulates the fire element. So it's the ferocity of the sun as it meets the compassion of the heart, because the fire element relates to the organ of the heart in traditional Chinese medicine. So we're going to work with the physicality of that today, we're going to work with the energy of that today, and we're going to work with the radiance of that today. You will need something soft for the practice, so I have a small cushion here. I also have a ginormous bolster, which is in no means a necessity, but if you have one, then fabulous. Otherwise, a rolled up blanket, a rolled up towel, a sofa cushion, a pillow will all be more than adequate, more than soft enough. If you're practicing with the playlist, then let's play that together now. So grab that and we will press play together in 3, 2, 1. Go. So I do have my phone just so I can keep an eye on the recordings. Take your soft thing and you want to bring it so that it's somewhat between your shoulder blades, and then place that on the floor and come to lie on it so that you can feel the chest opening around the soft thing underneath you, and maybe the head's on the floor, or if that's uncomfortable on the neck, then bring another soft thing underneath the head, but bring the arms out either side so that you can really think about this opening as if you were cracking open from the chest and letting the arms drop. You can keep the feet on the floor or extend them out. And we're going to take some time here to come into the heart space, to come into the seat of fire in the body. So let yourself tunnel down into that heart space now. I invite you to make the way into the cave of your heart. Can you arrive there already like that? Imagining yourself in this cave of your heart. As you breathe, the walls of the cave move. As the cave gets bigger with the deepening of your breath. And I want you to imagine in this cave, which is dark, it's a dark cave, but you start to notice that there are crevices, there are cracks in this cave, and through these crevices there is sunlight pouring into the cave, hitting the floor with light, with heat. And as you notice these cracks, you notice more and more start to form. Maybe you even see a doorway and light spills in to the doorway so that you invite this light, this radiant light from the sun in its fullness, into your heart. Where the power of the sun, the ferocity of the sun meets with the compassion of your heart. Giving yourself this sense of compassionate ferocity, passionate love and devotion and integrity in this glowing cave of your heart. Staying in that experience, staying in the cave, I'm going to read to you an extract about summer solstice by Miana Welty. This is a wide open view, the wisdom and scope of the sea. This is the terrain the moon sees, the meeting of hard lines and softness. Solstice will expand you into hope, connection, revelation. It will draw you out with compassion, then demand the best your love has to give. Compassion is not all softness, it is fierce, it is unyielding, uncompromising in the love that feeds it. Centering love is no joke, no easy task. It is for those who can stand in the hugeness of summer and look into what the light reveals. It is for those who soften into connection, melt into the tides, and also provide the definition of the shore. Centering love is for those with integrity. Not a moral code per se, but the deep integration of beliefs with behaviors, commitments with actions, visions with knowledge of self and world. We will not know the power of our love until we let it draw us out. We will not reveal our glory until summer strips us out of our hiding, until we seek to strengthen instead of defend. You can keep this radiance in your heart and bring your feet to the floor if they're not there already, and bring one hand on top of the other so that your body follows that arm, coming to a fetal position. So it's like you close the physical opening of the heart, but keep the radiance, keep the opening there. And from there, gently push yourself up to all fours. And let's move with some of that energy now. So inhale, push the hands into the floor, lift the gaze. And exhale, rounding, drawing in and up. Inhale. And exhale, moving with your breath, moving with your body. So let the body be the guide here of how much you want to move, what corners you want to creak into, what bones you want to open, what muscles want to extend, how you play with your weight, the distribution of your body with the earth. Let this be an exploration as you move with this integrity of the heart. You may gently hum if that feels nurturing and honest. Slowly start to reach the arms forward. Make your way to Anahat Asana. So the hands come forward, lengthening out of the sit bones and the tail as the forehead comes to rest on the floor. Let yourself drop into the floor. And if that is not comfortable, bring something else under. Maybe it's under your chest or under your forehead, or if you have a bolster, under the whole front of your chest, if that support is supportive for you. Feel what starts to happen here in the shoulders, the sides of the ribs, the hips even. And find a way to soften more here. So maybe that means bending the elbows slightly, to take some pressure off, to relieve some of the tension, because I want you to focus not so much on the shoulders, but on the back space of your heart. And I'll share a visual with you that works for me, but it may not serve you. I want you to imagine the entrance, the exit to a cave, opening out of the back of your heart, opening out of the back of your body. So this opening is as wide as your ribs, as wide as your back.
This is the back way out of your heart. And I want you to imagine with the breath that you are emptying out the heart. So all that fullness that we invited in, can you start to let that flood out of this back way, this back doorway from the heart? Letting more and more of it stream out of you, this sunlight that you called in, give it back. Give it back out. Let it go, let it empty, let it be free. And you can start to notice what you're left with in the emptying of your heart. What do we find when we allow ourselves to empty? Gently push into the hands, start to lift the gaze, and then imagine you're pushing your hands into a belly. So it's a soft but firm surface you're pushing your hands into. You can feel the feedback from the floor as you tuck your toes and lift your hips high, up and back to downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Let the heart sink, the heaviness of the emptiness of your heart, dropping between the shoulder blades, coming forward with the chest to the front of the rib cage. And if you want to straighten the legs, if that feels comfortable, safe, still. Otherwise, keep them bent. Start to let yourself move how you want to move in this pose, this place of familiarity. Can you invite some curiosity in to how you stay in downward facing dog, how you move from downward facing dog, how you move in downward facing dog. Just inviting in your own play, your own expression, your own exploration. As this own fire within expresses itself through your body, through the limbs. No wrong or right way to be. If it's stillness, if it's movement, it's whatever is here for you in this moment. Keep following that expression through. And then come back to downward facing dog, just so that we can all move from the same place. Look between the hands and bend the right knee in towards the chest. Gently step it between the hands and drop the back knee. Lift the gaze. And we're going to come to dragon pose. So you may want a cushion or a blanket underneath that left knee. Start with the hands on the right knee, feeling the weight sinking heavy into the pelvis, the opening of the pelvis. Maybe you gently pull the perineal body up, see how it feels, and then release it. And you can stay here. You can come onto your fingertips. Or you can heel toe the right foot out to the right. Both hands on the floor. And right toes just coming off the edge of the mat. We're in this lizard variation. It's a variation of dragon, which you can tell by the reptilian name, lizard. We're in reptile territory still. And if this feels enough, stay there. Or you can come onto the outer edge of the right foot, keeping some integrity in the right ankle so as not to sickle there, so that you're protecting the right knee. Bring the right hand onto the right knee. And stillness is fine, or playing is also welcome, because you can play here with how you can find ways to open the front of the heart here, maybe twisting to one side, or opening the back of the heart here, maybe rounding forward. Feeling the connection of the top of your body as you open and close the doorways to the heart, as you swivel within the hip sockets, each extremity of the body facilitating another opening, another closing in the opposite part of the body. And whichever one of all those things feels best to you, whether it's back in dragon with the hands on the knees or playing with the wider opening through the pelvis, you're going to stay for 1, maybe 2 more minutes here in your own experience of what that feels like, what that facilitates for you. The arms are very welcome to come into play as well. The hands, the arms are the expression of the heart. These meridians that run along the arms from the heart are literally the expression of the element within Chinese medicine, as the meridians run directly from the heart and down the inside of the arms. That's why we hug, we envelop with this expression of our heart. If you are in the more lizardy reptile territory, then come back to Anjali Asana. And we're going to keep playing with this movement of the arms here, thinking about opening the front and the back of the heart with the way that we express that opening and that closing, that filling up and that emptying with the limbs. The limbs including the limb of the crown of the head and the tailbone. They're also at play here. And from here, welcoming in again your own experience from that place, from that pose, from that asana. Where do you naturally come to? Where does the body want to move the expression into and out of? Be curious, listen, feel. Start to make your way back to downward facing dog, where we will meet in stillness. And an inquiry into what is here now, in this familiar place. Is there more ferocity? Is there more compassion? Is there more fire? Heat, sun, radiance. We're going to move into the other side, so the left knee comes in towards the chest and step it through, back knee down. Slowly coming into dragon here, so maybe you start with the hands down and the gaze lifted. Feeling into this other half of the pelvic bowl. The left thigh bone coming into the socket, the expansion that starts to be invited in the lower parts of the body. Maybe you bring the hands onto your knee, playing more with balance, finding stability, finding fire. This pose is called dragon because it is fire. Using Ujjayi breath can be a really beautiful way to stay here in that fire as the dragon. Or maybe for you it feels better to bring the hands down, heel toe the left foot out and the left toes off the mat into lizard. And you by no means need to do what you did on the right side, because this side is different and this moment is different. So find your way here into how you want to be here in a place that you can stay. And that doesn't have to mean stillness. You may come down to the elbows. You may bring the left hand onto the knee, maybe back up onto the right arm so that you can play with this opening of the shoulders, of the chest, of the heart. And this closing off, remembering to notice how the different parts of the top and the bottom of your torso are moving together like a dance, one reacting as above, so below. They are moving in unison even when they are moving in opposite ways. Take your time to stay with that exploration, if it's stillness or movement, whatever works for you. You have another minute or so there before we'll come back together. If you do have that left hip open more, make your way back to Anjani Asana where we'll meet, and then we'll use this expression of the heart, the arms, to find some more freedom, some more experience of this ferocious compassion that we call in on this day, on the summer solstice. And as people, humans, our ancestors have also celebrated, honoured this day, the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere, the day the sun stays with us for as long as he can, radiating his power and light and warmth as we celebrate the height of summer with those we love, with the land we care for, in the earth, our home. Bring the hands to the floor and step the left knee back so that both knees are on the floor, and come so that you're standing on your knees. Reach the arms up and bring the sit bones to the heels as you float the arms down. Again, inviting some freedom in here. Maybe back to cat-cow, maybe cobra, maybe rolling from downward facing dog to plank, or maybe staying still in child's pose. Come back onto the knees and walk them forwards to the center of your mat or just above. Have the knees wide, and we're going to come backwards. So just start to lean back. You can imagine zipping up the pelvis, engaging the core here. You can keep floatiness with the arms so that you also stay with the softness, even though it's a powerful way to start moving as we ignite the fire center, the solar plexus, the core. And then you're going to see how far you can come back. And for some of you, you're going to need to bring the hands down. Some of you may be able to come all the way down. But we're going to make our way back to saddle pose. So whether that means you can come down, or whether that means you come onto your hands and then maybe your elbows, or maybe you stay upright but with the legs in saddle position, so the feet outside the hips. You can have the knees together or further apart, less pressure on the knees if they are apart, so please look after them. And we're going to stay here, feeling the opening in the tops of the thighs. If you are all the way down, you can open your arms back out. This cracking open again of the chest, of the heart. And if you are up, also invite that visual back in, the opening of the chest, so that the sun comes into these cracks. There are cracks in everything. That is how the light gets in. Let that light into the heart. And you may want to let out a sound, something audible, some expression of you, maybe a sigh, a soft something that maybe represents that sense of just pure luxuriation, the longest day of the year, under the longest sun. On this day that we've celebrated for centuries, for as long as we've walked this earth, the longest day of the year, the sacred solstice. Stay in a way that you can be comfortable. So if you're not comfortable, that means maybe you open your knees further apart. Maybe it means you come all the way up. Maybe it means you come out of saddle pose altogether. You could extend your legs in front of you instead. Maybe come to a forward fold. Finding a place to be where you can luxuriate in the practice, the fire element, that which we have called in, that which we are honoring. The fire, the sun, the compassion, and the ferocious softness we can feel through our body, through our connection to one another, to this earth, to the seasons. When we allow these things to come into relationship with one another. Sun, heart, body, sky, earth, air, you, me, us. If you are still down, you can bring your hands onto your heels. Gently, first push yourself onto your forearms, come to your elbows. If you're on your elbows, taking a moment. And then coming to the palms to come upright. If you're in a forward fold, you can also come up. Reach the arms up to the sky, the sun. Feeling its radiance moving into your fingertips, trickling down your fingers, your hands, your arms, into the rib cage, into the heart, where it meets with compassion, love, joy. And then like a flower opening to the sun, let your arms open as if they were petals, welcoming the energy of the sun into their cells. And you can do that a few times if it feels good, or stay opening. Let yourself feel the power of the sun, the power of the energy above, coming down through your body. And it's through your body that it then comes to the earth. You are the connection point between these things, between all things, as you are connected to all things. Bring your hands together, pinkies touching, thumbs touching, inside root of your hands touching, but the 6 fingers opening into Kamala Mudra, Padma Mudra, this lotus flower we hold with our hands at our hearts. What are you opening to? What are you resting in? What are you celebrating? Then bring the hands together to prayer. Take a moment. And if a thought, an intention, a spoken word of gratitude comes, and you can express that, or you can just let the devotion be held within the symbol that you make with your body. Bring the hands to the floor so that you can shift the weight back and extend the legs forward if they're not already. And just, take a moment to stretch out the limbs there, the legs, the toes, the ankles, the pelvis, the arms, the shoulders, the chest, the neck, the head, the face, the crown. And then reach both arms forward. Engage your core as you gently roll down, 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 down to the floor. Legs wide, arms wide. Take up space with your body as you let your body drop down into the arms of the earth, as she welcomes the weight of you, of your bones, of your being. She holds you here as you lie under the sun, feeling its light radiating out from you, out through your skin, out through every pore, every fiber of you. You are emanating the sun's own radiance as you. Slowly letting yourself drop deeper into Shavasana, into stillness, into rest.